Excuse me, has the meeting begun? I know I can't hear. I don't know if the other people on Zoom can hear.
Jennifer?
I can hear now. I can hear everybody.
Oh,
I
okay.
think she was trying herself.
They didn't have their mics on.
Thank you.
Oh, is that better?
That is, I'm sorry for interrupting. Thank you.
Are those on? Yeah. Okay, we're talking about the Weller application.
Okay.
You got some photographs too of some other structures close to the road.
There's a number of structures close by.
Are these near your home, or do you know what the addresses are for these?
This one is, that's
This-
right in the corner of Jamison and,
That's about
Clayton Corners
three
Road.
houses down. And that other one is further towards the other end of Jamison.
This one?
But there are some that we didn't take photos of, like garages that were sort of newer built, but they were built probably in the 70s, I'm
Mhm.
guessing, that are like literally 10 feet off the road.
Mhm.
There's also, I just have to tell you, a like old van truck that is rusted all the way out and has been sitting there for years and is 5 feet from the road.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that seems to be okay.
We're just gonna focus on what you need and what you're
Okay.
coming presenting.
Okay.
Okay. Any board members have any questions?
Mhm.
I'd make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Mhm.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody here want to speak for or against this application? No? Make a motion to close the public hearing?
I second.
Okay. Have you talked to your neighbors at all? Are they aware of what you're doing?
The neighbor over here I have, she doesn't have any, they have a like falling down old barn that's about 8 feet from the road right here that
Mhm.
stores one of their old cars.
Mhm.
The roof is kind of caving in, so I think she thinks that, you know.
well, and I talked to, Marjorie Fountain, who has the barn that's in the picture, and as well as the fire chief that lives farther up, Jameson Hill Road. And he was like, oh, you're gonna put up a portable shed, and he was giving me a hard time about it, but was joking.
Right.
Because he says, I have a 16 by 20 foot shed that, I put up. So,
Mhm. Right. Well, in my view, the variances are substantial, but I don't see that this extra shed is going to change the
Yeah.
character of the neighborhood. I don't see any adverse environmental issues.
No, I don't either.
The only thing I would recommend is, when you sit, when you make an application for the building permit, I mean, if the purpose of the building is to store stuff you're selling, you're gonna have to get what's called a home occupation permit.
Okay.
So, I would definitely, make sure the building inspector understands what the use of the shed's going to be.
Okay.
And, then he'll make a determination as to what kind of permits you might be needing.
Okay. And can I ask, why do we need, and I really just wanted information, why do we need a building permit if it's a movable shed?
Code requires it.
Yep.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, that's what the fire chief was saying. Like, he thought that it was no big deal because it was movable, but I
It
said,
goes by the size of the shed.
Oh, I see. So if it was smaller, you're saying it wouldn't be,
You might not have had to, but I have to
Okay.
look at the code section myself. But
okay. And what happens with the building permit? Like, what is the process for that?
You make an appointment to see the building inspector, you'll fill out an application,
Okay.
pay a building permit fee.
Okay,
He'll probably want to see plans and pictures of the
Like you
shed that you
have.
want to put up.
okay,
And he's going to ask you, how you're going to set the shed there. Is it going to be just on the ground? You're going to put gravel down?
yeah, we're
Is it-
having
is it
gravel
level? Yeah.
compacted, so it's
So those are
Mhm.
those are the
that
things,
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it
those are the
was.
things that he's
Okay.
going to be interested in.
Okay,
Mhm.
Anybody else have anything else?
Nope.
No.
All right. I'll take a wing at some motions here. First, we've got to deal with seeker. These are area variances. So it would be a type 2 action. So I would make a motion that we declare this application to be type 2 under seeker.
Yep.
Okay, Katie, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'll do this in one motion. I move that we grant a 73.7 foot side yard variance and an 82-foot front yard variance for the placement of this shed upon the condition that there'll be no on-site sales from the location, and also upon the condition that you obtain a home occupation permit if required under the code.
I second the motion.
Frank, is there
Mhm.
a lot coverage issue? Do
No,
we know?
not on this one, not conforming.
Yeah, non-conforming lot.
Okay, we got a second.
Let you get you through your motion first. Well, my question is going to be, what's the square footage of the shed?
12 by 20. Okay, there was a motion, a second. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You got your variance.
Thank you. Yay. So in addition to the building permit, what was the other thing you said about the,
You may have to get a home occupation permit. We'll
okay,
talk to the building.
The building
Building
inspector will
inspector will
talk to you.
talk-
with-
okay.
Yeah,
got it, okay.
Yep.
he will go through because he's going to ask you what you're using it for.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
everyone.
Okay, thanks for coming out. Next on the agenda, Mr. Rappleyea, Yadgard. Just a note, just today, the ZBA received the transcript from the public hearing that was conducted on October 15th. I personally would like an opportunity to review this thoroughly so that we can have a good discussion next meeting and take a hard look at all of the issues that have been raised for and against this appeal. Mr. Rapley, would you have any problem with extending our time for another 30 days so we can take a look at this?
No, and Frank, just so it's clear, it's not an appeal, this is the original variance application.
Oh, okay.
But
I stand
Kyle asked me,
Oh, okay, I thought.
Yeah, I thought this was new.
Oh, this is on the variance application.
Oh, okay.
I got confused as well. So then what we're gonna need to do, we'll need to get Mr. Mackey's,
Consent.
consent as well. So I will, that was my mistake.
You reach out to Josh
I'll
tomorrow?
reach out to Josh tomorrow and confirm with him that there's no problem with that.
Okay.
yeah, an oversight. I had sent Kyle and Josh in October.
I saw that.
Realized this morning, maybe it's so easy to miss emails.
Yeah,
So it wasn't deliberate to not get it to you guys, it's just,
no problem.
we're all busy.
We got it, so we're all set.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'd make a motion that we adjourn this application to the December meeting. May I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What is the
Pass.
December date?
Good question. December 17th?
What's the January date too, please, while you're looking at that?
It'll be the third Tuesday in January, so,
It's,
21st. January 25.
January.
I got 21,
Yeah, 21 of January,
21.
2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So for the time being, we have, this is going to be on the agenda for December 17th.
December. Mhm.
Okay. Very good.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming out.
Mhm.
Lastly, we've got Arcadia Field Solar Installation located at 749 Stanford Road. Is anybody here for that application?
Mr. Chairman.
Please come up, introduce yourself, tell us what you're trying to do.
Sure, of course. Thank you for having me this evening. Charlie Gottlieb with the law firm of Whiteman, Osterman, and Hannah in Albany. Here tonight representing Lisa Biase and Lou Casciano, who are the owners of property at 5515 Route 82 in the town of Washington. They have a single-family residence on that property that they just finished renovating with an accessory barn structure. On August 12th, Lou and Lisa noticed clearing of existing vegetation that separates their property from the property across Route 82 and construction of solar panels directly across from their residence. That was on property at 749 Stamford Road in the town of Washington, known as Arcadia Fields. Before I dive into the appeal, because I was going to summarize it this evening for you, there is somewhat of a simple solution here. That property where the solar panels are is approximately 400 acres. There is certainly another location for those solar panels other than a location that we feel as though violates the town's solar and wind energy law. Like I said, on August 12th, they saw this construction taking place. They had no prior notice, weren't given any heads up. They immediately contacted the building department, had voicemails, left voicemails, followed up with an email and lodging a formal complaint.
That's your letter. Oh, that was your.
This was an
You sent
email. Yep,
Okay.
those are from my clients. On August 13th, they received an email response from the building inspector, which is Exhibit B of our appeal. And the building inspector said that they have a permit for the installation of the solar panels, but that he is aware that the solar development is within 300 feet of the public road and that a landscaping plan was submitted along with their application for the solar panels. On that same day, our clients asked for copies of all the permits and applications that were issued. The building inspector told our clients to submit a Freedom of Information Law request. At that point, our clients retained my office. My office did submit a FOIL request on August 16th. We sought two things: all property records for Arcadia Fields dating back to when the current owner bought the property, as well as all information related to the installation of the solar panels. At the same day, my office submitted the ZBA appeal to this board. In short, the appeal alleged that the building permit for the solar installation violates local law 1 of 2023, which is the town's solar panel law. The building inspector erred in issuing this permit because the Arcadia Fields property is a commercial property. And therefore, under your law, the installation and the approval of the solar panels required a site plan review, special use permit review, and a public hearing by the planning board, all of which did not occur. Recently, and we submitted this on November 14th, utility poles have now been installed directly in the line of sight of our client's property, again, violating the solar law. It was only after we submitted a FOIL appeal to the town board 3 months later that we got a response back from the building department saying the records are available. My office is going to the building department tomorrow to review these records. But I will say the second we submitted this ZBA appeal, first of all, we shouldn't have had to wait 3 months to get on an agenda, but also the building inspector was required by New York town law upon getting this ZBA appeal to submit all the documents related to that solar installation to your board so that you would be prepared to hear our appeal. I don't think that happened, but my office is going to review those documents and we will forward those before this board has their public hearing. Let's see. One of the other things, since 3 months has passed since the start of the construction of the solar panels, and we highlighted this in November, there shouldn't be any consideration to the fact, well, majority of the solar panels are already built, the harm's already done, you can't do anything about that. That's incorrect if that assertion is ever made. There's a case in New York, Parkview Associates v. the City of New York, where an unlawful building permit was issued for a skyscraper. The skyscraper was built. The skyscraper had to come down. So there is no such thing as vested rights for an unlawful structure. Again, these can be located somewhere else on this 400-acre parcel so that it can't be seen by our clients. And we also have other adjacent residents who are affected by this, which I imagine this board will hear about at the public hearing. So related to the appeal, Solar Law Section 6D5 talks about ground-mounted solar panels on non-residential property. They require site plan, special use permit, and a public hearing. I always get a kick out of this, but a non-residential property is defined as real property that's not considered residential. So we look at the definition of what is a residential property, and it's real property that is primarily used for residential purpose and contains a 1 or 2 family residence. We submitted this documentation in our appeal. The Arcadia Fields property is a non-residential commercial property. Dutchess County Land Records has it noted as being a special farm, not a single family or 2 family residence. The owner, we understand, and we hope to gain more information on this from our review of the FOIL documents. The owner leases a portion of his land to a therapy horse commercial operation, from our understanding. And the Arcadia Fields is the host of a commercial tree farm operation. The FOIL request will shed more light on this, and we will provide an update to this board as necessary. Most importantly, your solar law is quite comprehensive, and it requires that for residential or non-residential, that those solar panels must be completely screened and not visible from any public roadway or adjacent property owner. In this case, to completely screen these solar panels is physically impossible based on the information we have and also documentation picture-wise that we've submitted to this board. I also have a video that we're going to show for the public hearing that shows how absolutely visible these things are. For non-residential properties, the law says they shall not be visible from any public road or any other parcel unless the owner of such parcel executes a consent. As you can tell, my clients have not consented to seeing these solar panels. Now, if they are visible, they must be screened by existing vegetation, topography, architectural features, berms, landscaping, fencing, or a combination thereof. And that landscaping and that plantings has to screen those solar panels at the time of planting. So we can't plant a 3-foot evergreen and wait 15 years for it to grow. They have to be installed at the appropriate heights and widths, and that's right in the code. And this is one of the reasons why site plan special use permit is required for this. So that landscaping plan can be reviewed by the planning board, by members of the public during a public hearing, and so forth. Our client's property sits on a hill over Arcadia Fields where the solar panels are. Again, it's going to be physically impossible to screen those solar panels. The second floor bedrooms from our client's window, which is documentation in our appeal, you can visibly see the panels. The standard is high. How can, this board has looked at landscape plans many times before, I'm sure. How can one tell that solar panels are going to be completely screened just by a landscape plan without a visual impact assessment being done? Now, if the property is deemed residential by this board, the same screening applies. The project, the solar panels are within 300 feet of my client's property. That was admitted by the building inspector in his email. That means this has to be completely screened. And again, that's a standard we think cannot be met. Other violations that we noted on November 14th, trenches have been dug for electrical lines, platforms have been installed, which we don't know what they are for. Heavy machinery has destroyed and cleared out the vegetation along Route 82. There is a gate where it looks like access will be to these solar panels. That has been completely cleared of any vegetation. I'm not here saying that new plantings won't come in, but right now it's a lot worse than it was. And most importantly, a new utility pole with transformers has been installed directly in front of our client's property. Section 5H of the solar law says no solar energy system shall be permitted if such installation shall require the installation of a new above-ground power line, power pole, or electrical substation, unless that power line, power pole, or so forth is required by the public utility company. But we have no way of knowing whether or not that pole was absolutely required by the public utility company, or was there another way around that so that it was in a different location or it wasn't needed at all. I've done enough development work now in my life where I do know that many times electrical lines these days are completely underground. And so we need to see the documentation as to how that electrical line and utility pole was constructed. The next steps for this appeal are scheduling a public hearing. We want the chance to review the FOIL documents, which we will do tomorrow. We will supplement our appeal with what we find, so the board kind of is on the same page we are in making their determination. But we are asking for this zoning board to invalidate the existing permit. That's our ask. You know, we believe that the owner of Arcadia Fields should kind of heed our appeal or our advice in our appeal and stop construction in the event an appeal is successful, or that potential court action in the future may invalidate that building permit. Again, relocation of these solar panels somewhere else on a 400-acre parcel should be the answer here. I can't stress it enough that my clients are completely committed to seeing this through. You know, like I said, they have a brand new renovated house that they come up to enjoy. And unfortunately, solar panels are now what they see. I would recommend that members of the board, either together at a notice meeting or individually, come on over and take a site visit. If so, through Kyle and my office, we can get that coordinated. Like I said, I have a video that we can share, but I do suggest a site visit.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Sure. And if there are any questions that the board has that we can provide answers to prior to the public hearing, just let me know.
You guys have any comments or questions for Mr. Gottlieb at this point?
I'm just interested in
I
seeing
don't.
the assessment after the FOIL.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I would do is I would make a motion that we accept Mr. Gottlieb's August 16, 2024 letter and November 14, 2024 letter as an appeal to this board seeking relief. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
I would next move that we schedule this matter for a public hearing at our December 17th meeting at 6:30 p.m.
Mhm.
Jennifer, do you do the notices to the neighbors or
I'll send
publication?
you the wording for the legal notice and
Okay.
instructions for how to post it, and then I'll give you all the addresses that you have to mail it to.
Great.
So basically, the applicant has to do that, but
Yep.
I'll send you all the information.
Okay, you have his email from the letters.
I do, yeah.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
The last thing I think we have to accept these applications, we need a filing fee of $400, and we'll also require an escrow of $3,000. Do I need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. That's all we can do tonight for Mr. Gottlieb.
Sure, and like I said, if the board wants to travel down individually, certainly you're welcome to. We can
We're trying to
also,
keep it less than a quorum.
yeah, I know the rules all too well. But if you want to do it and go on our client's property, just let us know and we'll coordinate it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your
And thanks
time.
for coming down.
Thank you so much.
A good Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Geez, I forgot to mention that to Mr. Rappel yet.
Oh, he's gonna be upset.
Thanks, Charlie. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Kyle. You too.
All right, I think that concludes everything. Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Done.